We didn't know that we were going like to spend
Your artistic. So I'm going to cause a pastor to be born, and within that pastor, because I want her to do pastoring, I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gifts that she needs in order to pastor. So it's your calling first, your purpose first, and then your gifts. Your gifts are put in you to enable you to operate within your calling.
Could you please repeat?
God says, what gift came out? What's your name there?
Encouragement.
God says, where do you stay? The village?
Blank.
God says, I need an encourager in Bulangi in 2024. And so this girl is going to be born in such a way that by 2024, she will be in Bulangi being this. And so I'm going to deposit these gifts within her. It's because God is shaping you to be an encourager, to be a teacher, to be whoever, that he puts the certain gifts in you. It's not the gifts that determine your call. It's your call that determines the gifts.
Excuse me, it was not your gift.
It's not your gift that determines your call. It's not because God wakes up and says, hey, Jill, she has this gift, she has that gift, she has that gift. Therefore, she's going to be a giver, a helper, a teacher. No. It's because he says, I need Gertrude, I need an encourager in Bulangi in 2024. So this encourager, I will put A, B, C, D in her to enable her to be in Bulangi and be able to encourage those around. So that calling, who he wants you to be, determines the gifts that he puts into you. It's not because of the gifts that you have that he says, okay, she has this and this and I gave her this, therefore she's going to be that. No. God looks, the way God does his processes, the little that I know, he looks at the end products. The end product he wants in you, and backs down, backs back, and creates that. I want an encourager there. Therefore, I put 1, 2, 3. At this stage, I put this. At this stage, this. So that by 2024, she's what I want her to be in the place I want her to be. Because of who he wants you to be, he puts what you need in order to be that.
And the purpose?
The purpose, all of us, God's creation, are created for the glory of God. Full stop. That is our purpose. I was going to get there, but let me start there. Our calling leads us into our purpose. We glorify God. We worship him through being who he created us to be in the best way we can. If you're an encourager, you're an encourager to the glory of God. You're teaching to the glory of God. It's a worship experience. We are created to worship, to glorify. So who we are worships, who we are glorifies. It's our calling that is different. But basically, humanity, our purpose is the same. To worship and glorify God. How do you do that? Within the calling is what you need to think about.
Doctor, you've thrown a spanner in my works when you, and I would like a little bit more clarification on it's your call that determines the gift. Because many times we have tried to position ourselves in the area of gifting, and that's what we've been told, rather than in the area of calling. So could you highlight that a little bit, because it confused me totally, and I'm not sure what to draw. We are told, go in the area where you're gifted. But today, you're teaching us that it's actually who God has called you to be, which is true, that will determine the gifts that you deploy at that time. So now, how will we know who God has called us?
It is quite cyclic. Your calling determines the gifts you're given. If I want a teacher, what do I put in that teacher to enable them to teach? It is not like she has A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Therefore, I'm structuring her to be a teacher. That's not how God thinks. That's how we humans think, but that's not how. It begins with, who do I need? I need a teacher. A teacher needs what characteristics? Needs to be knowledgeable, needs to be a communicator, needs to be, so let me put those and deploy them. It's our humanistic outlook pushes us to look at our giftings because it is the giftings that will lead us to our calling. If you do not understand your giftedness, you will not be able to understand your calling. The human being doesn't start here because we don't know it. But God has given us pointers to it. The pointers are found here. Once you understand this, it helps you to understand that. But from God's perspective, he didn't start here. He started with the who, and then gave you the what. So us as human beings, we look at the what in order to lead us to who God created us to be.
An example I can give in the Bible is when Samuel was called to go and anoint David, that he didn't know who David was. So for him, when he reached, he just looked on the aspects, the outer aspects, and he thought that maybe God is looking at the outer aspects of a person. So when he reached, was it a brother to David? One who was tall. Yeah. Then he thought he was the one, and then God said, no, he isn't the one.
Yes, thank you very much. So God's perspective is different from ours, but when we align with his thinking, then we are good. We know we are created for a purpose, but like you're asking about the purpose, in order for us to accomplish that purpose, God gives us the means. And the means to accomplish that purpose is through our calling. Our calling is the means through which we achieve the purpose, the glorifying of God. It is the road that takes you into fulfilling your purpose. Purpose is kind of the destination, and calling is kind of like the journey that you take. Because in Christ, all of us have the same destination, but the roads that we take, our service roads, our calling roads are different. But we are all heading, aiming at the same goal, glorifying God. And our roads are unique, our roads are different. So let's not try to travel the road somebody else is traveling because we like it. Because God gives us uniquely identified gifts to guide us on the road that we take. Our gifts guide the road. I'm walking in my calling of teaching. I'm walking in my calling of encourager. I'm walking in my calling of whatever it is, to the glory of God. Is that very well understood? Meaning, yes, quoting Monroe, you are what you are. You are how you are. And you are who you are because of why. It's the why that we begin with. The why, the glory of God, we begin there. And then the what, the how, and the who are all feeding into the why. It's always the why, the glory of God. So an examination of the gifts deposited in you, which we've been doing since some days back, points you to who you are, your calling is. I keep emphasizing that, so that you know the progression. Giftings are like a toolbox. You see this toolbox, it has a wrench, it has a hammer, it has whatever these crazy things are, I don't know what they are. If you look into Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10, Paul is talking about us being created for good works. So we are tools in God's hands to be able to do good. But how do we tell whether we are a hammer, whether we are a wrench, whether we are a what? Several things you look at. Experiential knowledge, ministry experience. How are you moving in a ministry? Many times, because we don't have the foresight, we tend to do trial and error, and that is okay. That is how we learn. It's like getting a panga and wondering, what can I do? Can I peel matoke with this panga? You try, you find that actually the panga doesn't peel. You get a knife and it feels better. Or you hold a hammer, you say, can I hammer this tree down? And it falls, you will take forever trying to do that. And then you discover either by somebody telling you, or by trying this tool and trying that, that this is what works. That one can do, and it usually works. You try out the teaching, you find I'm actually bad at teaching. You try out the encouraging, you find that you're not that good. And finally, you find that the panga is for cutting big things. I discovered my word of knowledge through experiential. It's not that I was trying and erring, but as I moved with a group of intercessors in Makindi, sometimes we would do Bible study. So we sit, we read through a passage, we explain to each other, and I realized that as I would be reading a certain verse, I would get to know what the verse is talking about. Not because I knew, but some knowledge would come to me, and I am able to explain it. So as you do something, sometimes you discover that you actually have the gift for it, simply because you're trying to do it. You make the discovery. If you hadn't tried to do it, there is no way you would have discovered. If I hadn't been in that situation, there is no way that I would have discovered that I actually have the word of knowledge as my divine gift. As you do that, you must listen carefully and be aware of how you're positioned and for what. For example, in that group of intercessors, I struggled with the intercessory part. And I ran away at some point, but somebody called me back. And as I went through, that's when I discovered I am actually in that group not to intercede, but to lead and to teach and to teach them about biblical principles and to lead them. So God can put you in the kitchen, not because you're a cook. Don't think because I am in the kitchen, I'm here to cook. You may be there for something else. Maybe He has put you there to clean the saucepan. Maybe He has put you there to actually peel. The fact that you're in the kitchen doesn't mean you're a cook. Listen, why am I in this kitchen, Lord? And He'll be able to tell you that actually there is a cook in this kitchen. You're here to support them, or you're here to lead them, or you're here to guide them. You're not here to be the cook. So the positioning of where you are doesn't necessarily mean that the title of that positioning is who you are. Is that clear?
Okay. I think for me, in a way, it's a bit scary because
You are in the kitchen and you're trying to
because I wish I'd learned this much earlier, because it explains why I even made some wrong decisions. Because I remember a time I was working in public health, so I was majorly with doctors and professors in infectious diseases, but it wasn't my area. And at some point, I even invested some money in doing a master's in public health, because I felt that because I was in that kitchen, at least if I couldn't do the real practical medicine, I could then do public health. And I went ahead, I struggled, got the money for the first modules, and we even had to pay dollars, struggling to pay. And I started the course, but along the way I fell out through, because being in that organization, I was not there to join that field. I was there to do something else. I was there as a communicator, but I wanted to do more of public health as well, maybe just to fit, and it wasted so much time and so much money. If I had known early, I would have been content in why I was there, done that, because it doesn't interest me. Now will I do engineering? No. Now become an engineer. And that's how I was becoming, that because I was in a particular department, I do that master's. Then I go to infectious diseases, I want to do that.
Infectious diseases.
Yeah, so for me, I wish I had known earlier because I wasted so much time and money in trying to climb to do something that wasn't for me.
It's a good example. It's a very good example. When you become aware of who you still the one, but operating in a different space, in a different position. So there is also affirmation. We've looked at it in the case study of Barnabas, where somebody else, your leader or even your sheep, will tell you that actually, yes, Cecilia, you're good at that. Or your friends, or whoever it is you're engaged with, they will tell you, they will confirm you as you repeatedly use your gift. If they are good friends, they will tell you, Jill, what you're trying to do, please get away. We need to arrest you on that one. Don't even try again. If they are good friends, they will tell you. If they are not good friends, they will cheer you and you keep on messing up. You think, oh, I'm wonderful in this one. Whereas you're not. So surround yourselves with people who can tell you that actually that's not who you are. Try something else. And then the third thing is your personality. Somebody asked about characteristics and personality. Those characteristics, those personality elements that God placed in you also point you to who you are expected to be. For example, if you are a teacher, what are the characteristics you expect of a teacher? Personality. Friendly. Organized.
Good interpersonal skills.
Yes, are your characteristics.
Listener.
You must be able to listen and hear. Those two.
Have empathy.
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 Mm.
Yes.
Communication.
A communicator. Yeah. So your characteristics, your personality will lead you to who you're supposed to be, who you're created to be. I love to organize. I love to bring discipline. I love to guide. I love to lead. I sometimes get out and lead even when I'm not being asked to lead. Because it's within me, I'm like, yes, people come, we do. And then I step back and say, yeah. I'm just pushing myself there and telling people, okay, let's go this direction. So when it's within you, you find it expressing itself even when you're not asked or required. It just flows. You find your doing, your being, because that is who you are. Okay. The Hedgehog. This is based on Collins, a book by Collins. What's the title? Forgotten now. Good to Bread. Good to Bread. He gives the story. It's an adaptation. His is not like this. He gives the story of the hedgehog and the fox, how they approach life. The hedgehog, God created it with these spikes. That is its defense mechanism. And it's the only defense mechanism it deploys in whatever situation. So the fox says, let me attack the hedgehog in this way. It comes, the hedgehog does that. And the spikes are out. It looks for a different strategy. Now if I do like this, still the hedgehog does that. Whichever thing is coming at it, it has that primary defense mechanism. So translating to us here, it's what I was calling your focal element and your dominant. Wherever your position, if you're in infectious diseases, you're not a doctor, you're still a communicator. If you're working with children, you're still a communicator. You haven't become a teacher. So your hedgehog, your main thing, is what you move with wherever God has placed you to be. So the hedgehog brings into play the things you love doing, the things you're best at, the things you're paid for, and what the world needs. This is also adapted from a Japanese kind of way of thinking, way of living, which they call ikigai. The Japanese think through their meaning for life based on these four things as they express themselves within their lives, looking at the reason for living, your calling, and your purpose for existing. You can see that they are elements of overlap. Your love in doing can overlap with your best at. Your gifts here, you may have gifts that overlap here. Some, if you look at your lists, there are some things that you're passionate about, that you love doing, and you're best at. When you operate in them, you're in this area of passion. And then there are things that you're best at and which you're paid for, which you can be paid for. There are things that the world needs in order to be transformed, or for community transformation, that you can be paid for. And there are things that you love doing that the world needs. But our focus is not on these areas, much as I want to explain all of them. I'll just explain the internal ones. If you look at this place, if you're positioned here, it means you're operating within your area of best at. You can see the circle. And you can see the circle for paid for. You're operating in the area, expressing your gift which you can be paid for. And you're operating within the area where you love your giftings. You can express your love in gifting. But you're operating outside. You see that this circle is outside of this. Can you see it? Mm-hmm. Meaning when you're operating here, you're not doing the things that the world actually needs. That means you're satisfied, but you have a feeling of listlessness. Because you're doing things you love, you're doing things that you're best at, you're doing things you can be paid for, but the world is not being transformed because of who you are. And so you may have that sort of joy, but then I am not having the impact that I desire to have. Then there is operating in this area. You're within the circle of I love doing this. You're in the circle of I am very good at this. You're in the circle of the world needs what I am doing, but you can't be paid for it. You're expressing the gifts where you're not going to get paid for what you're doing. And you may be full of delight, you may be enjoying, but you're very poverty-stricken. And us as Christians, we tend to want to operate there. We tend to ignore this. And yet we know that we need this. In order to fully live your life, you must be able to pay your way. This is not an area we should ignore as Christians. We must factor it into our ministry. That's why you find, excuse me, you have many ministers. They appear before you and they're like, oh, well, there is a time we invited somebody to come and minister to us. I was still doing nothing. She appeared, started teaching, and I was like, oh, well, she looked miserable. She looked forward. Yeah, it was written
Like a
over
prayer
her.
request.
Yes, it looks like a prayer request. And we do not want to appear like that. Because we are saying, we are serving the King over all kings. We are saying silver and gold belong to our daddy. We are saying all the cattle in the world are his. We are his children. Why are we poor? When you are a rich man, do you allow your children to walk miserably barefoot with begging plates on the street? What would cause that to happen? When you have millions of shillings, of dollars, and your children are begging on the street, what would be the problem there? What do you think the problem would be? Why would such a scenario play itself out? You need answers.
Ignorance?
Maybe.
When you are rich and
You're rich, and your children are walking in poverty. They haven't even gone to school. They are miserable.
maybe the children don't know you.
Breakage in the relationship. That is key. You're not relating with them as you
We
should.
don't have care.
Your heart as well.
You're greedy.
You don't know.
That's what it says, you are an infidel.
You're an
Yeah, that's
infidel.
Timothy 5:8.
That you are.
If you does not take
Someone
care
go
of
there and
your
check and discuss. Look
He's
for.
an infidel.
This year, look
That's
for 1 Timothy
5:8.
5 what?
5:8.
1 Timothy 5:8. What else, Angelina? Why are your children begging on the streets when you have millions of dollars in the bank?
I think that there's like you said, it's an identity issue. Or maybe the children don't even know you and who they are.
Yes.
So they can't come to you to receive because they don't know that you're there and you have.
The relationship is severed. The children have not come to you as the mom to be educated and trained and nurtured to be able to access resources as you did. The resources that are available to them are there, they are not even accessing them. Several things have gone wrong. So that's when miserable creatures operate in this area, and we need to break out of that misery and occupy the
Amen.
space that God created us.
We are
to
breaking
occupy.
out.
Amen. Operating in this area, you're within what you love doing. You see this area, the love in doing is there. What the world needs is there. What you can be paid for is there, but you're not good at any of those things that you're doing. The giftings you're expressing here, you're outside of what you excel at. Yeah. So you may be excited about all the money. You may be excited that I'm making an impact on the world that I love, but you're uncertain because you're not really good at what you're trying to do. You know the confidence you have when you're doing something that you excel at, that you're best at. You don't have it when you're operating there. And that's not a good place to be. Then there is this place here. You are doing, expressing the gifts that you're best at. You're expressing, you're using the gifts that the world needs in order to be transformed, and you're actually being paid to do. But you're outside of the love, what excites you, what your passion is. So you may be comfortable because you're paid and you're transforming and you're using your excelling gifts, but you don't really love what you're doing. And so you are comfortable, but your life is rather empty. So where do we need to be?
There,
Exactly.
right there.
Right there. We need to be expressing our giftings in all the 4 areas. We do what we love. We use our excelling gifts. We transform the community. We transform the world. We transform where God has placed us to be. And somebody even pays us for doing what we love, for being in the joy area. This is what we call your glow spot. You operate in your glow spot. And that's what we are aiming to do. As you look at your gifts and categorize them, we are heading towards identifying your glow spot. Because once you understand the mark of who you are, it will guide your choices. As you get positioned where you're positioned in northern Uganda, it guides your choices on what you choose to be involved in and what you can say no to. Because many things are going to come at you as you live your life in Lusaka. But are you going to say yes to everything? No. Because you understand who you are, you understand that my glow spot operates here. What I give priority to, it's not like you will reject, but you will prioritize. Because you can have several things coming at you for the same period of time. You'll be able to choose. Is this within my love area? Is it within my excelling area? Can I be paid for it? Will it actually transform? What's the purpose? Will it cause change? Will it lead to something positive? And so I will say yes. Yes.
I'm looking at a situation, for example, you don't have a job, but you need money. There are these things, you don't love them, and maybe sometimes you are not even as good about it, but you can get the job, and you need the money. So what do you do? Do you do it as you wait for something that is in your glow spot, or what do you do?
Let me ask Kaliaras to answer before I come in. What do you think? You are in that part of your life where you don't have a job, you see something that can give you the money. Maybe it is in
Yeah, maybe the world needs it.
you're here, but you're not good at it, or you're here, you don't love child love. What do you think your response in that circumstance is? Cecilia, since you're looking at me.
I wasn't looking at you, I was looking at the figure. And at the back of my
You were
mind,
thinking as you.
I was
Anybody?
thinking about like maybe you could consider that saying depending on I think the time frame also matters.
Mhm.
And where it sits. If it is going to take the whole of you and therefore you cannot focus on the major thing that you want to do, then maybe you put it off. But if it is something that you can do on the side and still focus and go for the, what did you call it? The glow spot. I think there are certain things you can do on the sides and still be focusing, because sometimes maybe God wants to use that to, like if I'm trying to package myself better for my glow spot, some of those things may prop me up to prepare better for those, but they should not
Supersede
they should not maybe take away my attention from the glow spot. That is my opinion.
Yes, sister.
I think also you can find a way, like, okay, if I didn't have a job and I got something which was aligned with everything, I'd find a way to make them align. Because, say for example, the company would have some core principles that you all agree on, which would fall, which would work together. For example, at IMT, when I was volunteering at IMT, they used not to do, I like working with youth, but they used not to do youth programming. So I volunteered to lead youth. So it started, and I like it. And, and now, even when you're doing the other job, it's like you understand that this job feeds into my passion. This job helps me, like even if they're not paying me directly to work with the youth, I know that by working with them, I get to work with the youth.
You could cause a change where you are to fit into who you are.
Esther is so encouraging. She has such an encouraging way of delivery. But for me, I see it a bit different.
Okay.
You have to be alive to glow. So for me, I think I would do that job so that I can have the resources to be able to. If I know where I'm supposed to be, that is, if you know where I'm supposed to be, you may need the resources first so that you're there. As you continue to find, to pray and trust God for opportunities to go into that middle area. But you can't just not do. But it might be a weakness. Me, I do. But it might be a weakness because I'm more of a Martha than a Mary.
Martha. Martha than Mary.
Martha is the one who cooks.
For me, thinking about it as a job opportunity or as an opportunity that you've been given, by the time you qualify for that opportunity, that means that you have particular characteristics, like we talked about personality, that qualify you to be in that category. So one way or the other, it will be feeding into something that you would love to do or something that you're called for to do. For example, if you are a leader or you are or an administrator or something, and you're called to do an office job, like one way or the other, by the time you're able, because remember when you're going for a job interview, they look at your CV, you know, they ask you, so what can you do? Yeah, they assess you. So by the time you're assessed and you pass through all those different categories or different procedures and you qualify, that means that you have the characteristics or the personality that shows that you qualify to carry on this job. So if you've been given I feel like it's a very good opportunity for you to go out and try it out. It may not be straightforward because there are some things that are not straightforward. There are some giftings that are not straightforward. You know, along the way you discover, like when you were going to work there, you did not really think about it at first, that, oh, actually, let me go out, start up my own thing. You reach there and you're like, I could start up my own thing. So first get into the waters, you may learn how to float,
swim.
how to swim along the way. Yeah.
Jill, and then,
I just want to add on what she has just said.
okay.
If you're given that opportunity, like of a job, in the beginning you might not like it, but along the way you can develop the love and the passion for it.
Okay.
I'd like to look at it like this, because I remember you telling us that this is a journey. It's not a destination. It is a journey, and it takes time to get to that X spot, that growth spot. So I think the things that we do along the way are some of the things that will help us discover. So when you get that job and accept it and you do it, then along the way, if you're praying about it and if you're intentional, like Dr. Kofia told us, we have to be intentional about this journey and be committed to finding out what it is for us, what is best for us. I think if we are, and it's also another thing to be in that position where you're intentional and committed, because I can imagine most of my friends out there who don't even know that they should be pursuing this journey. They should be on this journey. They should at least start on this journey. But if you're lucky enough to have started, then I think that is part of the journey, and it allows you to grow. You grow in the journey by being intentional and committed, and then you find out, you keep identifying and finding yourself until you get to the G spot.
Excellent. It's not a G spot, but it's a glow spot.
This spot.
Yes, the critical things are coming out. Please, each one of you is highlighting a different aspect. I'm happy. Yes, Esther.
Though, I wanted to ask, what's the place of recognizing that you're wasting time?
Exactly.
And money.
Yeah,
And money which you're trying to look for in the first place.
yes, so like where do you draw the line and be like, okay, I have to just focus and do like this job, even if I don't have, it is not done for me.
That's a question she's asking you to answer.
And I have no answer.
Well, where is the boundary? For sure there is a boundary somewhere. There are those things that you shouldn't really go into.
Oh, where is the boundary?
Yes. For example, you don't love it, you don't good at it, the world doesn't need it, but because it pays you, you're there. Are you utilizing your time or time effectively? To what end? What is the purpose behind your doing? Is it all only about money?
No.
And I really think that when you do something you don't love, you can be really miserable.
Yes.
That's what I think.
You will be miserable. You want to enjoy what you're doing. And you don't do it well, you don't love it, it's not even transforming anybody, but you're doing it because there is money there. And there are other opportunities. I believe the God whom we serve, sincerely, has opportunities for you. Sometimes we don't even listen to him. Sometimes he shows you something and you're like, oh, yeah. And yet that's where he's taking you to. Are we listening? Are we taking advantage of the opportunities? Because by the time he puts those gifts in you, he has created you to be that. And there are certain positions that he will lead you to that will enable you to operate here. And I go back to what Jill is saying. It is a journey. You don't wake up one morning and you're operating here. You may, by the time you realize that you need to make choices, you may be just here, like Gertrude is saying. But will you remain here? What steps are you, when you realize that actually now I know I am here, what steps are you going to take to move? And you won't jump from here and jump and land there. That tomorrow, oh, I've identified, it is a journey. You look around, you pray, you think through, you plan, you strategize, you look out for strategic relationships and connections. You look for business opportunities. You look for who amongst the people you know can lead you in this direction. And you start moving. You start moving. I am working in Uganda by the University Fund. By the time my realization of who I was came, I was like, what am I doing here? I didn't the next day hand in my resignation and say, you people, I am a teacher. You're in conservation, so I am walking out of here, bye-bye. What would I eat? Where would my fees for children come from? That would be the most unwise thing for you to do. But as I realized I am called to shape people, I first went to do Esther thinking, those in you there, how do I start touching their lives? Helping them to realize who they are. So I started asking for opportunities when staff meet for a retreat, for example. Please give me 30 minutes to do a teaching here. They give you, they appreciate. As you interact with people, you talk to them. You see here, you are not doing okay. How about you think things like that? You start there. And now I am on the way to getting out. But it's a preparation. I didn't like, bye! Yes, off I have gone. I found my glow spot, but no. God, no, not the tears. How do I?
Maybe the two are connected.
Yes, in a way, because I won't go there. Here, I am like here. At some point, I'll be there. It's not like now that I'm teaching you. I am also on a journey. I'm still on a journey. That's why I'm able to share as I move. I've discovered this. Let me share it as I move. Yes, Jill. The contents here may change, but the positioning captures all these. If you say shifting, you're saying it's shifting maybe to there or to there. If you look, what you love doing and what you're best at may change. I may 10 years ago may have been an excellent administrator. Now I'm an excellent teacher. The contents here may change. And even where you are positioned, what is needed may change. By then I was living with Betty in Osaka. The needs there are different from where I am in what geographically. By then I was working with a different agency. The needs there would be different. Now I'm at UVF. By then I was attending St. John's in Osaka. Now I am not attending any of those. I am in small groups fellowships. So the positioning changes, meaning what the world, when we say world, we mean where God has positioned you, the community, that you, the ship that God has put you in. What is the transformative thing that you can do out of your gifts? So the things will change, but the congruence of all those remains. It's an overlap of all those. You will see later that your mission changes. It can change, it may remain the same. You can have a seasonal mission, you can have a long-time mission, you can have a once-off mission like Esther, you do your thing and die. Or you can have something you do and it finishes and God says, well done, you've done that. Now I'm shifting you, your mission now is to go and do this. Are you listening? Are you hearing what the Holy Spirit is saying to you? And therefore you move with the move of the Holy Spirit. My move is not the same as your move. Don't see a coffee jumping from this place to that place and you also jump. You may jump into the sea and drown and be able to be very careful and listen to how the Holy Spirit is guiding you. Are we okay?
Yes. I have, okay, maybe a question or maybe
And
something.
an answer to it. The answer is
On like what the world needs. Because I was thinking it would have to be a big thing like world peace or like how do we define what the world needs where you are? Just
there is world peace. There are those called to world peace. There are those operating there. There are those called to family peace. He has placed you in a family and he has said your focus, Esther, is with this family, no more, no less. I've given you 5 children and a husband. That is your mission. Focus here. So again, what is he saying to you? To me, he has called me to small groups, to talk to them, to walk with them. To the late Cecilia Ogwa, it was to the nation Uganda. Although you are in Dokoro, but what you're doing, what you're saying, how you're influences the nation. To somebody else, it's the district of Ajai in northern Uganda. I am placing you in this district to influence. For somebody else, it is within a church setting. I am putting you in this congregation. Transform this congregation. So your world is within those boundaries. Okay. Exercise number 2.
If you are in administration or leadership, it's easy to say you will be paid for it. But if you are in giving, in helping, in encouraging, and you are not a professional counselor, who is going to pay you for that?
Once you've identified your natural capacity, are you able to shape that and make it into a money-making thing? If you're gifted in it, why do you think God gave you that gift? Knowing that God gave us gifts to operate within all. He doesn't want you to sit there miserably without money. He knows you need it. So there must be something that God has given you that will allow you to live, not to die of hunger. There is something He has given you. I don't believe in a God who puts people somewhere to be miserable and die of hunger. That's why Paul says, I have learned to be joyful, paraphrasing, content in all situations. When I don't have, meaning there is time when He doesn't have. And when I am overflowing in abundance, that means there is a time when God opens the floodgates and He has so much. So even us, the floodgates may open, you're able to work, to do certain things, and money comes in. Sometimes He's saying, I think you're becoming too dependent on your money. I'm turning off this tap so that you can come back to me to charge them. And you're like, oh, come back. You're back to these things. But there is something you can do. You have to think through, you have to strategize, you have to align, you have to seek relationships, you have to go out and find it. So we are going back. We are going into exercise 2, 3, and 4. Exercise 2, you know what it is. You look through again if you didn't do it in the first exercise and reallocate. Make sure that your reallocation is good. Moving your gifts to the 4 areas and identifying the overlaps. I don't have the
In this, the gifts I listed for me are encouraging, faith, giving, helping, mercy, kindness, service, tongues, dreams, just dreaming dreams, and writing. And of those, I think I need a square. Okay, most of them are natural. Only okay. Let me start from writing is an acquired skill. Faith, tongues. I forgot to mention tongues. Faith, tongues, and dreaming are divine. And then encouragement, mercy, giving, helping, those ones are natural. So in listing my gifts, I have, well, we listed them on this table. Yeah, okay. What I love doing is writing, serving, helping, intercession, encouraging, and kindness. Then, I think I skipped something. I skipped something. No, those ones are the intersection of what I love doing, what I do best, and what the world needs. So those are writing, serving, helping, intercession, and encouraging. And then the intersection between what I love doing, what the world needs, and what can be paid for is writing, helping, and serving. And it's the same as what I love doing, what I'm best at, and what can be paid for. So one thing I wanted to highlight is that in the original exercise, I wrote writing as the one thing that I love doing, that I'm best at, and what the world needs. But now from today's exercise, when Dr. Pofia asked us to think further, because I was wondering, if you're serving, if you're helping, can you be paid for that? And then thinking further, I thought of ways in which serving and helping, you can be paid for those. So for me, what I narrowed down to, again, is that writing, but also serving in my passion for disadvantaged people, like orphans or poor people. I can do those and still get paid to do that because I need to be paid. Like if I'm working for an NGO or I set up an NGO, I can still help those people and be paid. And then do my writing. And this writing can come in terms of writing grants for that NGO, because that's something I would really love to do. But also I love this normal writing, like on life in general. So for me, that's what I zeroed down to. Like an NGO where I help the disadvantaged, where I can do some writing and then some other writing not related to that.
Okay. It's clear. For us who were in her group, we had the opportunity of discussing further her gifts and her talents. And we agree from the stories that she told us and how she relates to her community. I think she's very strong on encouraging and on helping, especially in about people. But I also think that for the writing, she can actually take it a notch higher. Since she says she has a passion for writing on life skills, life lessons, life experiences, she can actually do a blog on that, which can be really paying. Because people get to be encouraged by testimonies, by experiences. Especially now in an era where mental health is real, people out
out there looking for, answers, looking for experiences, looking for stories that they can relate to, related to what they are going through. So I think blogging, you should explore that. Writing for money, I think blogs can pay at a certain point, but also just writing for magazines or newsletters that pay for that, freelance writing. I think it's a good thing.
You can carve out a niche for you as a writer, actually. If you can get a column, if you would, the blog, somebody can discover it from there. You can eventually get into book writing. There is so much you can do as far as writing is concerned. And it's a process. You won't wake up tomorrow and you are buying your books. You have to work hard towards
Okay, I'll share them to this group first.
Yes, we are here.
We'll be the first to follow your blog.
Yes, send us the link. When we have our book, we will buy.
Okay, thank you.
I'll start with what I'm good at. I have coordinating, helping, leadership, timekeeping, teamwork, then and serving. What I'm passionate about is serving others, coordinating, helping, organizing, timekeeping, being with children. There is like hobby, social gathering, dancing, those things. What I can get paid to do it, there's counseling, leadership, and coordination. What transforms the lives of others, or what the world needs. It's counseling, mass and kindness, helping, and coordinating. When I come to this circles here, what I love doing, and I'm best at it, that is in the section, there is serving, helping, and coordinating. When I come to what I'm best at and paid for, is counseling, leadership, and coordinating. What the world needs and what I can be paid for. It's counseling again, coordinating, helping. I think these ones what the world needs a lot of it. It's counseling, mercy, kindness, then giving, coordinating, and teamwork. What I love doing, serving others, organizing, helping others, and counseling. Yeah, counseling again. What I'm best at, this it's coordinating, helping, leadership, teamwork, and serving. I think that's it.
What is in the blog?
What is in the center there? Or what has come out?
In the dominant, something like that. It's leadership.
Here you see a lot of counseling, a lot of coordinating. So I don't know why those dropped, and then leadership, which you did talk about a lot, now emerged as the top. I would like all of you to take a picture of your pens and post. I had asked you to take a picture of your clusters, but I saw only two. I need your clusters, I need your pen. Because we are going, the time here is not enough. We are going to take it further and discuss and refine even more what is coming out of your Venn diagram. I can hear you say that
Coordinating, I think.
there are questions coming through where you have zeroed in isn't what is coming out from your story.
I think I was mixing it up with another like coordination, then
Those in high group, what do you tell us? What were you hearing from our stories?
Being a leader and communicating. That's the impression I got. She's good at leading and also at coordinating.
So thank you. Leadership came out like twice. So we will look again and see how to refine that. Who wants to go next?
Everyone, hope you had a lovely lunch. I enjoyed the chicken. So what I'm good at. First of all, this exercise has helped me to recognize some of my gifts and to differentiate between what I'm good at and what I'm passionate about. For example, what I'm good at, there is communication, there is leadership, there is teamwork, counseling, discipleship, Bible exposition, youth ministry, baking. Yeah, that's it. Then what I'm passionate about, communication, leadership, counseling, youth ministry, decoration, especially like African arts, and discipleship. So if you look at my 2 lists, the decoration does not lie at what I'm good at, because I'm still working on it. There are things you love, but you fail to produce. Yeah, but yeah, I'll work on it. Then what I can get paid to do, counseling, communication, and also youth ministry as a youth coordinator, and also decoration. Yeah, people hire you to set up the things. Not to make, don't risk. And then what transforms life, youth ministry, counseling, communication, discipleship, and also decoration, because I feel like art is a form of communication. It speaks a lot. Yeah. And then what lied in my glow spot is communication, counseling, and youth ministry. Basically that. Yeah.
Lydia's teammate, what do you tell us about your interaction with her? What is your impression?
When she was talking about the special casual box, first of all, one issue that we had is that she hadn't made up her list initially, so she just brought them up from here. Maybe that is where it's not matching with the names of all the gifts that we had, especially the school. I was able to zero down on only about 3 things in her globals. I was challenging her on the issue. She talked about youth ministry and then communication. So I was telling her, the communication also comes out as in the youth ministry. She said it's different because in communication, she even does things like MCing, and she gives talks and she's paid for them. And then the youth ministry, she also has a bit of encouraging, and she's leading right now.
It's about nurturing the youth.
Nurturing the youth.
Yes. More discipleship, fellowship. Yeah.
But then there are other communications that she's working at. She's already doing something that brings in money, but she will even do more, like the MCA and so on, speaking in different spaces.
We will need to refine your glow spot. Out of those, I am very sure there is something that you manage. Did you look at your dominant gift?
Yes, we spoke about leadership. We had a good discussion, and I was telling her why leadership came up. It's that every time I end up somewhere, like in a group of people, I find myself as a leader, and even the leadership positions that I am in right now, I did not campaign for them or say, "Oh, I'm here, I would love to do that." Like somebody came to me and they were like, "I think you would be good to have this position." So
Affirmation,
yes, yeah. So I feel like that's a gift that maybe later on I would love to nurture. But as for now, I really don't know how I got there, but I'm there.
It's a build as
Yes.
I grow. We're still quite young. It's going to build. Thank you very much. Please take a picture of your vein and post. Who wants to go next?
Some belt I loved doing was teaching, serving, exhorting or encouraging, helping, mobilizing for a good cause, journaling, and reading books. What I am best at, or what I have been told, is writing, speaking or communicating, and giving. What I can be paid for and what the world needs is mentoring, speaking. Maybe before I go there, what I also love doing and what the world needs, I forgot food processing up there, but it's mentoring, teaching, speaking, and food processing. So what I can be paid for is mentoring, and what the world needs is mentoring, speaking, teaching, food processing. But what I picked out for me as the dominant gift in all this, for me the dominant gift is the gift of exhortation. It's everything rises from that. And what seems to be coming out is teaching. All the other things seem to be falling on the side.
Group Angelina.
Mentoring. We put out she's really good at teaching. Actually, love you mentoring. But she needed to target the age group to mentor. Yes, that is what.
I think that's particularly mentoring and this technology. I think it would work well also in the aspect of mentoring. Yeah, so then
They go together. Okay. Take picture next.
do you, are we starting with our biblical gifts? Or we start-
Anything that you came out. Wherever you start is good.
Okay. So for my biblical gifts, I have encouraging, faith, giving, helping, mercy, for kindness, leadership, service, and teaching. Those are my biblical. Then my natural talents, and natural abilities. I'm a good listener. I'm a mobilizer. I'm an organizer. Almost similar. I'm a team player, very good working with others. I love art and interior decoration. That's something that I'm currently discovering, but I already feel I'm good. I'm comfortable there. Communication, working under pressure, empathetic, service, and especially service beyond self, which is connected to charity work, serving in ministry, helping, giving, writing. And my acquired skills are planning, public speaking, working with computers, making attractive presentations, training and teaching, writing, leading, and advocacy. I love to be the voice for the voiceless. I'm very talented there. And what I am good at, I'm good at listening, I'm good at mobilizing, encouraging, team playing, communication. I work well under pressure. I'm a good organizer, again, advocacy and service beyond self. What I'm passionate about is interior decoration, women ministry, organizing, advocacy, encouraging and helping, and service. Yeah. What else are we supposed to do? What I can get paid for and what transforms lives? And that's it. What I can get paid for is art and interior decoration. I can get paid for organizing, for my advocacy work, for my mobilizing, for my teaching, and for my serving. What transforms life? I think organizing does, women ministry does, advocacy, service beyond self does, listening, communication, empathy, giving, and lovely spaces also change lives. So I think my art and interior decor changes lives, and teaching changes lives. Yeah. So what for me came out prominently when I looked at my all disorganized brain diagram, I see the gift of serving coming out prominently and advocacy. Women ministry is also there, small, but coming up also. So I need to filter through the three. But very strongly, I feel like serving. What do you think?
From my interview and previous meetings, I think she's spot on. That matches your character. It does.
All right. Okay. So maybe I could go next. Okay, Cecilia here. We'll go straight to the Venn diagram. and say that 7 things came out clearly. And then they almost went round in all the circles. Yeah, the things I love doing, the things I feel I'm good at, and the things I feel that the world needs. And then I will tell you about the ones I think I can be paid for, and some of them I could be paid for. Then I go to that blog. So those things are teaching, writing and documentation, leadership and governance, prayer, compassion, stop helping, negotiations, and cooking.
When am I coming?
I think I should come. I think I should go and cook from the north.
Then we go there.
Because I have all the weeds behind my house.
Okay, tell us
Yes.
about.
So out of those, there were 2 things I felt. I mean, not
Are your glasses, Cecilia?
am I speaking?
Yes.
No, it's the light.
Okay.
It's the light. So the things that I felt out of those I may not be paid for right here, right now. Maybe God does it, I don't know. But He does it anyway. Is prayer and the compassion and helping. But the teaching came out as my major dominant gifting. I can be paid for it, but I still need to package it so that I can be paid for. I'm actually not getting paid for being a teacher. Then the leadership and the governance, I can be paid for it. And I've been on some boards. I still have one where they pay me. Others have been volunteering. I need to position myself and really get paid for the leadership roles I carry. Then the documentation, I can be paid for it. First of all, I do kind of editing, translation works. So I get some money on the ground that keeps me going from that. I'm also in the process of getting a book in place. And I hope to be able to sell it, especially to mothers and grandmothers. And get some money out of it. And continue. I love negotiations. I've always done well, but I've never thought about getting money out of it. But a friend one time when I was in Italy challenged me and said, where do you do your negotiations? You need to work on it and make it your main source of income. So that's what I need to work on it. Cooking, I love it. I have put things in place to make it paying. Now sometimes I do also do catering, but I still need to work on it to make it better. So in the glow circle, I put 3 major things. And I'm told I'm supposed to continue refining the teaching, which I have to package to make sure that it is paying. Right now, my major teachings is in churches. And the best payment I get in most cases is a love for it. Then the writing and documentation, I'm continuing to work on it. It's already paying, but I need to make it better, make it a notch higher. The leadership and the governance, I also need to position myself better so that I get better payment out of it, but I love doing it. Yeah, and I think the world needs all those ones. The teaching, the written materials, documentation, and the leadership.
Thank you
so far, so far.
Cecilia, comment?
I have a comment. Earlier in our group, when we were talking, there's someone who says she helps a lot. People come to her, they have problems, she shares, she gives them, she helps them. But then some people told her that it can be a weakness. That what Cecilia just said, the thing she's doing and she's not being paid. And I think all of us do those things. So how does one find that balance? Because like what she said with helping, people can even take advantage of you. Or they say I'm borrowing, they don't pay back. So where does one get the balance? How does one find the balance?
Like that. I can't do it at a particular time, or this is the time you can help, it's okay.
The prompting of the Holy Spirit within us Sometimes somebody asks you for help for money and you feel inside of you that actually I shouldn't. Not everybody who comes to you asking for help actually needs the help. Some just want to steal. What do you feel inside of you as somebody talks to you? Follow that. Then secondly, there is the issue of budgeting. God gave us wisdom. You know that every month or every quarter I can only give away 10,000 or 100,000. Once I've given that out, if you come, I actually don't have. I don't have what to give you. I can only give what I have. I can't give you what I don't have. And then there is that common saying that don't give what you can't afford to lose. As somebody borrows, you don't give them what you actually can't afford to lose. You know that this one I've given, it may come back, it may not come back. Many times when people come to me, I don't tend to loan. Even if I give you and say I've loaned to you, I know I'm not loaning it to you. When the time comes for you to bring it back, I will know whether you're faithful or not. When you say here it is and bring it back, I'm like, it is okay. I had given it to you anyway. But it shows me who you are. Next time you come, I will know. Because those who borrow and don't bring, they'll come back. Unashamedly.
You're right.
They'll come and give you stories and say, you know, the other 20, something happened, but now I did 100 without any share. But God gave us wisdom. Give us wisdom. We are not to live our lives as if we are foolish as well. So you have to have your strategies how to handle that kind of thing. People will take advantage, but you learn from it. And there is the inner witness normally which we tend to ignore because we think it is Christian-like to always help. No, it is not. Helping, yes, but help wisely. You don't allow us a thief to steal because we are a Christian. Yeah. Who is next?
Maybe just I could comment.
First finish before we discuss. We are 1 minute after our closing time.
Okay.
And we still have, how many are yet to give? 4.
Sure.
I think 2. I think it's Esther and Betty.
My natural talents. Maybe start with my natural talents. I'm a very good listener. Mercy and kindness, helping, encouraging, counseling, communication. Then, my acquired skills, Bible study, cooking, leadership, family, now. And then what I'm best at is I'm a good listener, mercy and kindness, encouraging, counseling, helping, giving. What I could be paid for, one I'm already being paid for, that is coming, but I could be paid for counseling, mercy and kindness. So what the world needs, mercy and kindness, encouraging, counseling, helping and finding. The dominant is, dominant is counseling and family.
Team Betty, what did you hear as you exchanged stories?
Everything's what I want she was mentioning. Though, because in our group we had agreed that we are all going to go back and keep meditating on these things to refine them.
Okay, and as you meditate, think deeply about the transformational angle. There are some things which, yes, can help transform a community, but only when they are subsumed into something else. Like if you did that thing on its own, the community wouldn't be transformed.
An example, please.
Look at her list of, give us your list of transformative,
What the
what the
word
word
needs.
needs.
Oh, and it was mercy and kindness, encouraging, counseling, helping, family.
Family. If you went into a community and started having mercy on them, would they change?
No. Not with mercy alone.
Exactly. If you went there and started being kind, would they change?
They would be worse.
Yes. They become worse and they are highly dependent on you. So think deeper on the transformation. Certain things don't stand alone. Where God has placed you, what is it that you can do that can actually transform the community God has placed under your care? There are certain things you go and they won't transform anything, although you're saying they can, they won't. So think deeper on that one. Okay, Esther.
Okay. So let me just say first that when I was writing my list, I started by writing what I am good at. Then I used that list to develop all the other lists. So everything that is in my on B, C, and D is already on this thing. Okay. Okay. So what I found that I was good at, encouraging, teaching. Let me read down which intersected at least. So the ones I found that the world needs and I love doing includes mercy and kindness, mentoring, reconciling people, music, research, teaching, and writing. Then the ones that I love doing and I can be best at included loving and I can be best at include encouraging, mercy, teaching, wisdom, swimming, reconciling people, cooking, music, reading, giving, mentoring, research, writing. The ones I can be paid for though, and the world needs include research, teaching, reconciling, and writing. Though I was not very sure about reconciling people. Though I've seen people do it, I don't know that me I can do it. I think the ones which have really come together include research and teaching.
For your glow spot.
Yes.
For her glow spot. They are teaching and research.
And maybe some writing, but it's just that I was not so sure about how much money it can make for me. But I know it makes money, but I don't know if it can make, if I can use it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Team Esther.
Esther is really gifted. She has she can do so many things, and she could grow in any area. So she'll need to go and sit and reflect, because I know her. She can write. She's good at what she does, what she trained for, and she even had other abilities that we're not aware of. So she'll need to refine. She's gifted.
No, it's that I'm very interested in learning.
What I can say about Esther, she's a very intelligent child, and I've been telling you.
She said there was dominalis.
Yes, it was there.
Yes, that is right. Even when she came, she came a bit late, but
Very
just
nice, not just
just as she just started talking, listening to her, I just saw that this is an intelligent child.
Amen. May God give you a way to use all that wisdom that you have as deposited in you. So ladies, our time is spent. I know there is more you would want to discuss, but our time is spent. I apologize for the overshoot. We should have ended by now. So what we are going to do, we are concluding right now. We are going to pray. And then there is an evaluation form, which, if you may, you can fill it from here. If you're in a rush, you can go with, fill it, take a picture, and send back. Because we are now way beyond the time we are supposed to be here. So I'm going to request Angelina to lead us in one song of worship and give a closing prayer, and then we will see what next.
A song. I sing in the shower.
We're going to sing outside of the shower.
The shower.